This is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Welcome back to the She Walks by Faith podcast. Welcome back to another encouragement. Welcome back to another message. Welcome back to whomever is listening today. I am so glad that you decided to watch another video on this channel. Today's message is simple, but it's yet powerful. Today, we're going to be talking about submitting to God's process. Yes, submitting to God's process. The other day, I was doing some things around the house, and I began to get a little discouraged because some of the things that I've been working on, I have not been seeing the manifestation from them. And the Lord had to remind me about seed time and harvest. And that's another word for another day. But when I thought about seed time and harvest, I thought about process. And so the Lord told me, He said, I need you to submit to the process, because most of the time, the process is going to lead you to the promotion. And so we love to say, Lord, use me, but we don't always love the process that comes with it, right? Because the truth is, God's process doesn't always feel good, but it's working for our good, right? Before David became king, he was just a shepherd. He was in the backyard. He was a shepherd's boy. Before Joseph ruled in Egypt, he went through a pit in a prison. And even Jesus went through the wilderness before the cross. So if it feels like you're in a waiting season, or you're in a season where you're being pruned, where you're being processed, if it feels like nothing is moving, nothing is working out, nothing is happening, trust that God is still working. He's building your strength, shaping your character, and preparing you for what's next. And that's normally what happens in a season of preparation. That normally what's happening in a season of process. Because when we are in that process, we don't realize what's happening on the inside. We don't realize the character that's being built. We don't realize the integrity, the honesty, everything that God is building, the discipline, the consistency. We don't realize everything that God is building until we get to the other side and say, that is why I had to experience James 4:7 says, submit yourselves then to God. That means letting go of your timeline and your plans, saying, Lord, have your way in me. Don't rush what God is refining. Because when you submit to the process, you're preparing for the promise. When you submit to the process, you're preparing for the promise. So make sure that you submit to God, submit to His process, keep walking by faith, not by sight, and remember that you're not being punished, and you're just being prepared